So I'm here in this alley, as one is, thinking about One Piece, as one does. Uh, One Piece 1191 was disappointing, mostly, I think, not objectively, but because it came right after 1190, which had Gabon's insane attack. We see Divine Hockey come out again, and we see the panel about Crocus and Whitebeard being a part of the plan, which is like, those two things are so huge. Luffy being stabbed up against the tree with two swords, and then the third comes in, and then Gabon parries that, and then attacks with the 8,000 warriors. Like, that was just so peak. And I think the second reason, aside from following 1190, the second reason that 1191 is disappointing is because just remixing the elements in 91, the one most disappointing thing about 91 was Luffy just getting up and being okay. He just he said he had food even though he didn't show it. Then he pumped his legs a bit. Then he just stands up. And the annoying thing is he's going in a three-way attack with Hajuden and Loki. And if they're doing a three-way attack, it kind of implies that they're all like on the same level, right? Like Kaido Big Mom doing the combined attack. It's kind of like Dorian Brogy doing the combined attack. It's like the whole point is that like they're on the same levels. So they're doing a combined, like that's the whole point, right? So having a Luffy that literally just got speared twice and did some bullshit and then just stood up, doing a combined attack with Hydra and Loki is like either a downscale for the Giants or like it's like paper cut of the sea, like light breeze of the sea. Like what is that attack going to do against the ascended form of Emu? Like Loki just got demolished. Hadrian's doesn't even have conquerors. So the main point from complaining about this is if you go back to Luffy being pinned against the tree, Gabon protects him. Peak. Gabon goes on the offense, risks everything, loses an arm. They start taunting each other. Peak. Emu doesn't transform. Emu comes back at them. He comes back. Gabon is ready to defend with his one remaining arm. He's probably going to die, but he's ready. He's doing it. Emu is still small. And then Hadrian comes in and punches him away. He gets bombed. Hadrian tanks it. Emu is off in the distance. Then you see the panel of Emu like bleeding. Emu is not. Emu should not be damaged by 8,000 warriors at all. Hadrian should come in, potentially with conquerors already, but hear me out. Hadrian comes in, and Gabon says, "Take Luffy and get out of here." And Hadrian gets to say, "This is Elbaf, the land of the giants. You are our brother, you're our friend, you're our uncle or whatever, but this is the land of the giants, and we are going to protect this land." And as he says we, he's like, "Me and my brother, we." Loki comes in saying we, and then as both of them have this bonding brother moment, like they finally, for the first time ever, like see each other as brothers, then they do a Spear of Elbath. Just Hadrian and Loki. Luffy, dude, Luffy is done. Luffy is out. Luffy unlocked Gear 5 when he was killed by Kaido. Okay, he was dead. Then unlocked Gear 5. So, like, what's wrong with that? It's a shonen, right? Like, just do it again. Like, at that part, I don't mind. It's way better to do that than to just say, I got food. Let me just do this a little bit. I'm good. Hadrian comes in with Loki, Spear of Elbaf. That's when Hydrogen gets conquerors. Then peak, okay? Hydrogen and Loki slam Emu away, slam base Emu away. Sorry, I think I said Emu was bleeding before. This should be the attack that, like, Hydrogen just punches Emu away, base Emu, normally. And he's like, what's this? This is annoying. This is a buzzing bee, whatever. Comes back in, still base. Hydrogen and Loki, combined Spear of Elbaf, double conquerors, blast Emu away. Then Emu's against the tree bleeding in base form. And here is where it gets peak, okay, in my mind, okay? At that moment, you have Loki and Hydrogen standing over Gabon. Gabon is saying, get out of here. Hydrogen and Loki saying, no, you get out of here. And Gabon is like, no, you get out of here. And they're like, no, you get out of here. And that is when Luffy starts laughing. And the three of them, Gabon and Hydrogen and Loki, have this moment very similar to Luffy when he felt Joy Boy's hockey, right? Where they're just like, and they're all like looking down, like, what is this? Because something different has happened, right? Potentially, the fruit, the Zoan, the mythical Zoan, Nika, has awakened. And I would love the narrative of Nika waking up and laughing and saying some shit like, you silly guys, no one's dying here. Like, right? They're arguing like, I'm going to die here. No, I'm going to die here. No, I'm going to die here. And then Nika is like, you guys, you're so silly. The only one that's going to die here is God, or the devil, or like what, or nobody, like something like that. Some line like that would just be, you guys, nobody's dying here. And then the three of them like, what? Like, this kid was dead. No special food, no special gymnastics, no special, I'm good, I'm ready to go. Hydrogen and Loki get their brotherly moment. Gabon gets his mentor moment. They get their funny little Oda moment, they get their petty little argument while like the king of the world is like right there. Then, as Nika says that, Emu, up against the tree, notices. Then Emu says, there he is. Then he transforms and says something like, let's see what he remembers, or something like that. And that would explain, because we've already seen the giant shadow form that Emu has. And so we already know that there's one above this 1191 form. So the reason for the 1191 form, which is kind of weak, honestly, like, oh, he got a little more buff, like, so what? But the reason for it would be he's intentionally going to limit test Nika, who just woke up. So then 1192 would be Biblo's explanation to Chopper, translated, which would be peak. Who knows what Biblo is going to say, right? Of course, most people are saying he's told Chopper that he's the forest god or whatever. Sure, that would be cool. But whatever he has to say, it's going to be peak. That would be one side of the story. We've also got Zoro and Sanji still. Sanji's going to have his Conqueror's moment sometime. Maybe that's in 92 or not. Or 92. Because then it's the opposite, right? If you have Luffy that just got up from nonsense and is with Hydrogen and Loki, then that's a Hydrogen Loki downscale. But if you have awakened Nika with Conqueror's Hydrogen and Conqueror's Loki, that's a Hydrogen Loki upscale. And then they can do their triple attack or whatever in 92. But 91 would end with, instead of the triple attack, it would just be a spear with Hydrogen and Loki, and Hydrogen actually having Conquerors. plus Biblo and Chopper going, huh? And then Emu transforming and saying, like, let's play. Let's see what he remembers. Peak. And that's all the same stuff that was in 1191 anyway. But the main problem was the inclusion of this plot point of Luffy having food stored up. What does that even mean? What was that panel with him pumping his legs? Like, literally, what was that? But you just rework it a little bit. And also, Gabon looked so weak. He was just like yelling at everyone to run away. Didn't really make sense. So Gabon tries to defend with his life. Hadrian punches away just like normal. But instead of, like, Hadrian, he just came in so weak, and then Hadrian and Loki both get downscaled by doing a combined attack with Luffy. Like, you're seriously telling me that that's going to do anything to an ascended emu? It's the king of the world. What do you haven't even seen the shadow form yet. There's still other holy knights. There's still the Forbidden Sun. Like, there's so much further to go. Oh, and then I forgot to mention the funny part about Nika awakening in an unconscious Luffy is that afterwards, Luffy could not know that it happened. He could just, like, wake up and be like, oh, you, like, they do a triple combined attack in 92, and then at the end of 92 or in 93 or whatever, Emu gets forced back to Marie-Joie, right? Because surely the end of this arc is just that he gets forced back, right? They're not going to beat him here. That doesn't make sense. So 92 or 90, like, the triple attack, he just gets, like, I don't know, damaged, or you get, like, maybe he can only do the shadow form in Marie-Joie, right? Like, maybe that's the explanation. But anyway, at some point, the immediate crisis is over. Maybe you can, I don't know, 1192, 1193, Sanji gets to do his Conqueror's moment. Biblo has his thing. I don't know. Maybe it's like one of those extended fights with Ascended Emu, conquers Hadrian, conquers Loki, awaken Nidhogg, right? Like, that could go on for a couple chapters while you do Sanji and Zoro and lore time, story time with Chopper and Robin and Biblo. Maybe the Vegapunk clone can wake up and they can talk, whatever, stretch it out a bit. But eventually, maybe Nika awakens because he's like the threat of Emu. Like, the whole Void Century cycle is coming back, and so all these Nidhogg, Emu, like, maybe all of these things are stirring the pot, whatever. Anyway, battle's over. Luffy, like, comes out of Gear 5 or Gear 6 or whatever, and then is like, oh, what happened? He's like, oh, you healed me. Hey, guys, what's going on? And everyone's like, hello? What are you talking about? And he's like, what are you talking about? And then the whole thing gets to be, like, bookended perfectly with this humorous, Luffy still doesn't know that he's Nika, right? So then this is how you, and they're trying to, and they'll be, like, trying to convince Luffy that he's Nika, and he'll be like, the hell are you guys talking about? Anyone got any food? Like, that would be the perfect way to transition the seriousness of the Elbaf arc into whatever Oda wants, right? Because probably next they're going to go for the One Piece after this, right? But you need some sort of a transition. Like, you can't just be serious. Like, Oda himself has spoken about this. Like, if you just stay serious, it's just going to get seriouser and seriouser until it's too serious, and then it's just not fun anymore. So you need some sort of relief, and this relief where like Nika like wakes up, but is like Luffy's not in control. So when Nika retreats and Luffy wakes up, like they literally have to convince Luffy that he not only is Nika but was Nika, and he like doesn't believe them. That would be so funny. So, and literally all of this is just remixing the elements of the story that are already in 90 and 91. Like I'm not adding anything to the plot except Nika like waking up with the unconscious Luffy, but I just think that would be like a really good little funny addition. So the only justification I can see for 1191 being the way it was is that Oda already very clearly has an idea for what's going to come next, and 1191 is just kind of like, a way to get there. It's just kind of in between. And a couple chapters from now, we're not even going to remember 91. Also, I've just been seeing a lot of videos with the image of Ascended Emu, and I'm just like, it just doesn't make sense. Luffy waking up doesn't make sense. Hydrogen not having Conquerors doesn't make sense. Loki jumping in doesn't, for no reason. Like, he's just there, and then he's like, let's do it. And like, they're brothers doing an attack together, even though they never had a moment saying that. Like, it was all just like right there. And like, this occurred to me. And I've been thinking about it as I've been walking around, sitting in this alley. So, obviously it's kind of annoying that chapters aren't coming out as, every week like that. Like this would be such a good time, but I haven't stayed up. The manga's older than me. Right? So I haven't been staying up with it the whole time, so I'm not a extremely long time fan. So we just gotta wait, and see. But I do feel like it was really 1191 was really kind of a disappointment following 90. And then when I was just thinking about it, like I just came up with like just the remixed versions. It's like the same stuff in the story. Like literally it gets better when you take something out, which is like Luffy getting up. Like that just doesn't make sense at all. So the only thing I can think of is that Oda has a very clear idea for how Luffy steps up to his next form. And we'll see what that is. We'll see what Biblo had to say. We'll see what Vegapunk has to say. We'll see what Dragon does. We'll see what Shanks does. I mean, there's so much to look forward to. But I just felt like nitpicking 1191. Because I'm sitting here in this alley and I got nothing better to do.